To get the best result, it's all about ambition, hard work, and doing the right things right. In 1982, two Dutch brothers invented an automatic way to time RC races. The system of the company, called AMB-IT, was quickly adopted by pro racing series like NASCAR and IndyCar. Automated timing for mass participation sport events was also invented in the Netherlands by Champion Chip in the early 90s, giving athletes a personal chip time of their performance. In 2008, the two companies joined forces and MYLAPS Sports Timing was born. We never stop innovating with state-of-the-art timing systems and digital services to enhance the event experience. With our X2 platform, we bring motorsports timing to a whole new level with two-way communication. Our event app and photo video create the ultimate event experience for athletes and fans with live data and personal content like photos and videos. SpeedHive provides a pro-level racing experience for amateur and club events by analyzing personal data. We capture performances of over 20 million racers and athletes every year and use live data to spark emotions. MYLAPS. Experience progress.
The MYLAPS Indy Elite Series has traveled all over the country to some of the best facilities in America. Tonight marks our final visit to a road course in the 2019 season. Elkhart Lake's 14-turn, 4-mile road course is one of the few courses in North America that retains its original configuration. It's also the penultimate race of the year, and with Adam Blocker all but locked in as champion, the focus turns to winning one of the final two races. It's time for the Elkhart Lake Elite Grand Prix, where we continue on our drive to crown a champion at Road America. Welcome to SimTV. My name is Kyle Heyer, joined tonight by Finian Nakuna. Finian, 25 laps around Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, the famous track called Road America, and 14 turns, 4 miles. This is a beast. It's a super highway of speed around here.
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, I would say it's a fairly long lap. It is a long lap in a lot of GT cars, almost 2 minutes around here. These guys, with the amount of power they have, are getting it done in about a minute 40. Minute 41, so fairly quick time, pretty similar in fact to Sebring. However, this actually race should end up being a little bit shorter than Sebring, only 25 laps on the clock.
Yeah, so you mentioned only 25 laps. That's a very short race. It's just about 100 miles, which is almost, I think it's got to be one of the shortest races of the season, at least by time. So qualifying underway right now, about 5 minutes left, but let's roll through our track map here for tonight. 14 turns. We'll take a look at the guide down the long front straightaway here, Finian. It's a long way up a hill. As you climb out of turn 14, you're going to cross that start-finish line. An extremely narrow front straightaway, which means passing, you can do it. It's going to get real dicey as you head down into turn 1. Your exit, head down to turns 2 and 3.
Yeah, and then, you know, really heading down into turn 1, I think that's going to be one of the biggest passing zones on the track today. And yeah, heading down towards turns 2 and 3. A lot of guys end up making mistakes trying to make some moves, but you got to get a good exit out of turn 3 because it sets you up for the straightaway down through turns 4 and especially turn 5.
Yeah, turn 5, probably your best passing opportunity around here. Heavy braking zone down to probably second gear in these cars. You climb up a hill, another short rise into turn 6, a left-hander. Then turn 7 is a fast fifth gear right-hander in these cars, maybe fourth if you're still up on acceleration. Then you head downhill into turn 8, which is very similar to turn 5, just a little bit less steep.
Yeah, and then down towards turn 8 and get into a braking zone. Set yourself up for the carousel. Long right-hander. Takes a long time to navigate when you want to set up for a run down towards through the kink. And then down towards Canada Corner, turn 12, another passing opportunity, again on the third longest straight.
Yeah, Canada Corner, turn number 12 sets you up for 13 and 14. Your final passing opportunity as you crest that rise in 13, then you set yourself up for that long front straightaway. So this is not a difficult track to pass set. It's very point and shoot, not a whole lot of high downforce corners. So that means the driver's probably not running a whole lot of wicker. They're probably not running a whole lot of wing. Going to get as much straightaway speed as they can as we head into the race tonight. We'll head down and take a look at qualifying. Henry Bennett is the previous winner at this racetrack. We've only ever been here once before in Indy Elite Series history, and the last time we were here, Henry Bennett was the one that got it done. So he's on pole right now, so can he go 2 for 2? I mean, he's going to need some insane luck to win this championship, and it would also take Adam Blocker not starting, but unfortunately for Bennett, Blocker is, and right now he's currently 3rd in provisional standings, so as long as Blocker takes this green flag, he's going to wrap up the 2019 championship.
Yeah, I was going to say, it really, like you said earlier, it's a foregone conclusion of anything. He's going for race wins at this point, and Blocker, I'm sure he's still not done yet. We'll see if he can improve his time. Currently 3rd on the board, 2/10 behind his teammate.
So about 3 minutes left in qualifying. We'll take a look at the lap times around here, Finney. You mentioned about mid 141s, 142s around here. About what Sebring was, but 3 laps shorter, and that means that this is going to be very much a sprint race. You're not going to have a lot of opportunities to make up ground if you make a mistake. But this track is a lot less technical than places like Mid-Ohio or Sonoma. We didn't visit Sonoma this year, but Mid-Ohio is a very technical racetrack. This is not. This is brutish. You're going to have your foot to the floor for the majority of the lap. Slipstream's going to be important. But we're going to see a lot of drivers probably make mistakes, not spinning out on their own, but getting into collisions with other drivers.
Yeah, that's going to be the big point, especially guys trying to make some moves using the draft down. A lot of these straightaways, you can really put yourself in an opportunity.
Brennan Lichtenberg in the number 10. That's a throwback paint scheme that he's running tonight. He rolls through the far side of the course. He put in Discord what it was.
Yeah, I was going to
take a look.
Pull up the driver. I don't remember.
I'm not familiar with him, but again, I'm not super in tune with IndyCar history in particular. So Lichtenberg rather rolls through turn number 12. That's Canada Corner.
It's a tribute to Arnd Meyer.
I don't know enough about IndyCar.
I don't know who the driver is either. Yeah,
it could be from a different series. I don't even know. We're going to get ripped on that probably later. But Lichtenberg's great looking paint scheme. I do know that Dakota DiCienzo, he hasn't jumped on track just yet, but he has a gorgeous gold livery with the new spec map feature that just came out this past week, which has been used very creatively so far from what we've seen.
Well, you got to get on the track now. Pretty much, you've got only 2 minutes left. That's just enough time to get back. Actually, no,
it's not enough time. You need at least 4 minutes around here to get a lap in, and 10 minutes of qualifying these guys usually get. And most of the time, you don't need 10 minutes, but around here, you kind of do to get both your laps in. And so Simon Bryant in the Sadie Sim Autosport car climbs 13. He sits 8th right now. Bennett still on pole. Joshua Chin has won a couple of races recently in that number 93 car. He sits 2nd. He absolutely dominated the last time we visited a road course at Sebring. Your thoughts on his chance to win a race tonight?
I think it's going to be really high. I mean, honestly, just looking at our top 3, they're all separated by 63 thousandths of a second at a road course. Nonetheless, a very long road course indeed. So, yeah, it's going to be very competitive towards the front of the field between Bennett, Chin, and Blocker.
How about this guy, Nicholas Rasmussen in the number 71. His first outing was at Sebring a couple races ago and ended up finishing, I believe, 2nd there in his first start ever in the series. So I'd expect him to be really good tonight. Hasn't qualified quite that high up the grid. Currently 6th right now. But he's got an opportunity to finish out this lap. His best time so far looks like it is a 142.714. It's just under a second off the pole time at the moment.
I don't think he's going to have enough time to make it back tonight.
It's going to get a little close here. Take a look at on the nose of this car. We better look at the front splitter. I don't know what we're going to be running for wicker tonight. What do you think? Or it doesn't really matter because it's not oval, so we don't really have a wicker in a traditional sense. It's just a number of wings that they got, and he's running, looks like full downforce on that nose.
You can see there's a little, it's kind of hard to see from some of the front angle shots. There's a little, you can see 3 kind of bolts almost put onto the wing, and then a little bit of carbon fiber. It's hard to see because he has the top plate is black. But there's some, you can see those white dots, kind of hard to see, especially if you're on the stream. Where you run an extension to even give yourself more downforce. I do imagine that a lot of these guys would probably opt not to have those on, just because again with a lot of straightaways, your 3 long straightaways, you're gonna lose a lot of speed with a lot of downforce. And again, like you said too, not a whole lot of downforce corners really, other than the carousel.
Right, the carousel's really your only fast corner. Everything else is pretty point and
maybe
shoot.
The kink too.
Yeah, the kink, but I mean it's pretty much full throttle on anything with even a little bit of a downforce. So at that point, it doesn't really matter a whole lot. So this race predicted to be about 42 minutes. This is kind of a sprint race here, so buckle your seatbelts and hang on tight. It's 25 laps around Road America. And of course, thank you again to Coca-Cola, the Coca-Cola bottling plant of Kokomo, Indiana, and MYLAPS for coming on board and sponsoring this series. 25 laps, 99.6 miles is the race length tonight. Take a look at our weather conditions this evening here, Finian. 76 degrees, 118 on the racetrack. That's not super cool. It's going to be a little slick out there.
I was going to say, it is pretty hot as temperatures go. And I kind of noticed that I was looking at the track. I can always kind of tell it was looking a little bit hot out there. There's not a lot of shade anywhere else.
It's also kind of hazy looking, and their humidity is pretty high as well, which isn't going to help overall grip. Let's roll through our starting lineup. It's a long pace lap here today, Finian, so maybe we'll hang on just for one more second. But your thought on turn 1, lap 1, how aggressive are you going to be? Again, you only have 25 laps. The only opportunity you're going to have to get a bunch of people at once is on that first lap. So are you going to be aggressive, or do you think it's safer to just kind of hang out for a lap or two?
I think it's safe to at least hang out over the first few corners. I think by the time you get, I think really if you can survive down to turn 5, I think that's where you can really start to maybe, figure out, get yourself in line, then start moving up the order. Obviously, if an opportunity presents itself, take it. But, I think it's really just going to be more of a matter of just surviving the first few corners.
Field gridding up and getting ready for the long 4-mile pace lap around here. An open setup, so you have some adjustability built into your race car. I think what we're also going to see is if you do come down to pit lane, are you going to be willing to make adjustments? Because I think right now in the opening part of the race, I might... what do you think about downforce here, Finian? Because obviously you can't really change a whole lot of that in the car, but you're setting yourself up for a race where you're spread out. But the opening lap, we're going to be all bunched together. You're not going to have a whole lot of air on the nose. So how do you counter that?
I mean, really, it's anything. You're just going to have to hope they put a lot of mechanical grip into the setup, because obviously being right behind someone, that's not really going to help you aero-wise. I mean, you're going to need more mechanical grip to give you the traction to make it through a corner at a high rate of speed. I
did want to show you the 43 Dakota DeCienzo, because this is a gorgeous example of what is possible now with the iRacing Spec Map feature that just came out this week, and get a nice, good, long look at the shine as this car goes by.
It looks black from this angle as he comes through the picture there.
Oh, man, that's pretty. So he'll start from the tail of the field. Looks like Simon Bryant missed the grid, so he will not start this race from this front straight. He'll be at the very least starting in pit lane. Here's our starting lineup on the front row tonight. Henry Bennett from the UK in his 007. Not quite going to be a championship tonight, but he was awful close if he just had a little bit more luck throughout the season. Joshua Chin, last road course winner at Sebring, starts in second.
There you got third place Adam Blocker in the 74, trying to wrap up the championship tonight officially. And outside of him in fourth, Flynn Lazier in the 4 car.
Riley Thompson in the number 58 has been extremely successful in the Fuel IndyCar series lately on road courses. We'll see if he can repeat that success tonight. Nicholas Rasmussen only has 1 start. It was at Sebring. He finished second. He rolls off 6th tonight.
Moving on back to 7th place, got Andrew Kinsella from Canada in the 14 car. And outside of him in 8th will be Simon Bryant in the 22. Unfortunately, he's going to be starting back in the pits.
John Downing, one of the Sadie Sim Autosport cars, ran pretty well last time out at Kansas. And actually, did he win that race? I believe he did win that race. He'll start in 9th place tonight. And Lichtenberg and David Adams 11th and 12th, and then Lichtenberg in the 10, Adams in the 88. Rolling back to row number 7.
And moving on back to 13th, we got Tony Schowen in the 31 from the Midwest, and in 14th, next to him is going to be the 76 of Andreas Knight from Scandinavia.
15th place, the New Jersey and Christopher Demare in the 144, and Logan Simmons in the 75 rolls off to his outside in 16th.
Back in 17th place, we got Richard Holt from the UK in the 91. Outside of him, AJ Burt, also from the UK, in the 67.
Back to 19th place, it'll be row number 10. Chad Simpson, one of the Spark VR teammates in the number 42 from Texas. And needed outside of him, the 53 of Joe Flanagan from the Carolinas.
Back in 21st, we got Joe Branch in the 28 from Indiana on the inside. And outside of him in 22nd, Ray Kingsbury in the 25.
23rd, Dan Lee Ench in the 52, another Spark VR team member. Bradley Walters in the 56. Hasn't had a whole lot of luck lately, looking for a bit of a change here as he heads into this week.
Back in 25th, you got Marshall Stanley from California in the 55 car. And next to him in 26, Rock Powers in the 47 from Indiana.
Dakota DeCienzo's going to wrap up the tail of the field here in 27th. Again, 28th place is going to be the 22, which I believe has joined the grid. It's no longer grayed out. Yes, he's sitting in pit lane, so he will start from pit road. It's going to be a lonely night back there, because he's going to get kind of blown away on the initial start here. We'll head back up front. to Henry Bennett, who is your pole sitter in that green 007 car. All season long, he's been performing, but not quite to the level that his teammate has been in Adam Blocker, and Blocker's just been flawless this year. And as long as he takes that green flag tonight, he will be officially the champion of the 2019 MYLAPS Indy Elite Series.
Really, our eyes are going to be pretty much on that top 3 tonight. Bennett, Chin, Blocker, seeing how those guys compete. Again, 63 thousandths of a second separating them in qualifying alone. However, a race is going to be a different story.
Climbing through 13 and 14, 25 laps, about 42 minutes if we go green from start to finish. The Porsche pace car is going to peel off here in just a moment. And green 007 with the red, festive-looking rims lining up to climb the hill. It's a long climb up this incline. Adam Blocker in behind. Green flag flies, and we're racing at Elkhart Lake for the penultimate race of the 2019 MYLAPS Indy Elite Series season. Clean getaway for Henry Bennett. In behind us, Kinsella taking a look down the inside of Riley Thompson in turn 3. They're side by side. Nicholas Rasmussen second at Sebring. Already charging up. There's a car around. It's Tony Schauwen in the 31. This is in turn 3.
Yeah, Logan Simmons was also on the grass in the 75 car.
For the lead, though, Adam Blocker to the outside into the braking zone for 5. Going to cross over his teammate. And can Blocker be this aggressive? I mean, I think he's got plenty of space in the points. He can just go for it tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, you can argue his teammate's still fighting something in second place, but here they go side by side through turn 7. They managed to make it work out. And there you see the top 4 all in the picture there.
Blocker took a look to the outside. Here comes Joshua Chin firing down the inside in turn 8, and that's also brought Flynn Lazier into the mix. He's going to take a look to the inside through the carousel.
Yeah, Blocker now trying to pass his teammate that backfired him a little bit. Chin got a line around now. Flynn Lazier trying to make an opportunity to get a line on Joshua Chin.
Real tight at the exit of the carousel into the kink. Now full throttle for these drivers. Kinsella closing in on Flynn Lazier. Joshua Chin push to pass going to be another topic of discussion tonight.
He's actually
tacking out.
Yeah.
Was the 14 at Kinsella. 3 wide for a moment in front of him.
They're making a move to the inside, flashes out for a second. Whoa, almost hits wheel to wheel with Chin out of Canada corner.
Yeah, Chin fighting hard to hold on to that third spot. Riley Thompson gets shuffled out in the early going. Simon.
Whoa, Kinsella to the inside of Lazier. Almost got into him there. That's going to slow him down. Here comes Riley Thompson back on Kinsella.
Yeah, Tony Schauwen has pulled his car off for the night, or at least for now, so he's off the racetrack right now. Side by side down the front straight, Kinsella and Thompson.
Hell of an opening lap.
Sure is. Behind him, that's Adam Crane in the 24 popping out of line, and Rasmussen not going to have enough speed to get it done.
I actually noticed some damage. If we look at Flynn Lazier, he's got damage to his rear wing as you see these guys going at it down into turn 3.
Yeah, so I think Lazier might have gotten...
Yeah, look at the back of his rear wing from the gearbox cam. Or even from that cam, you can see it there.
Whoa, behind him, Adam Crane almost got shoved off course by Rasmussen. They're fighting hard as they head down towards turn 5.
A lot of fighting through the field. No one really waiting or being patient down deep into the brakes into turn 5.
Brakes glowing on Crane already, pushing the limits of the braking systems on these cars. Rasmussen up the outside trying to hang on. They slide. Crane slides through the dirt. He's going to come back on course. He'll have to serve a slowdown there, but John Downing gets pinched behind him. Nowhere to go.
I think 24's trying to get out of the way. Unfortunately, he was in the way of John Downing, but what a save. That was probably the best save I've seen going through that corner in the grass.
That's bunched up in a bunch of cars behind him. Licked it. Oh, man, looks like Downing's off course. He's going to lose more spots now. So from bad to worse, here comes his teammate David Adams around the outside. Ike and Lichtenberg come on through.
Oh, and actually, I think Downing's missing a side pod. Actually, was that just speed?
Couldn't tell you. I don't think he has any damage on this car.
Okay, I thought he did. I was going to be curious. I thought I saw the radiator, but I'm just seeing things.
Adam Blocker and Joshua Chin for second. Chin looking really racy early. Remember how good he was at Sebring? He just drove away. Wasn't even a competition there. Already putting pressure on the 74. And again, conserving all that push to pass is going to be especially important for these front runners. Car in the round, it's Bradley Walters. This is in the kink. And that's a bad place to go off.
Yeah, that car might be done. Unless he's actually handling-wise, it looks all right. He's going to definitely have to be a little bit in the pits to fix some of the
Oh, this was actually
body work.
In Canada corner, rather. On the accelerated out, got loose and right back across the racetrack, and Joe Flanagan almost got into that. But, and it's like Walter, more collision. Oh, no. The teammates get together. That's Simon Bryant getting into it with Bradley Walters. Did they collide with each other?
It might have, but I don't think Bryant should have been close to that.
Oh, I wonder if Bradley Walters, he just goes off, and Bryant was already spun out. And so here's Bryant. He just gets loose on the exit curb.
And this is him trying to catch the field, too.
Yeah.
He's making some decent progress, but that's going to set him back quite a ways.
Managed to keep the damage off that wing for the most part. For the lead, though, Adam Blocker has reeled in Bennett just a touch. 2/10 quicker last time.
Not surprised to see these guys breaking away 6/10 of a second between, second between our top three.
Picking a line through carousel is always challenging in a car this fast. You can take it a few different ways. Lane apex, keep it tucked into the right. But look at the speed we're going to get to here.
You can already see he's in the red. Heading down into Canada corner.
188 miles an hour. And closing in for that lead. Opening laps have been frantic here, and we're already 3 laps into our 25-lap event. Henry Bennett has led all of them so far, but he's got Blocker Chin tucked in behind. Lazier seems to be hurting just a little bit with that wing damage. We'll see how much that hurts him over the course of the race. So one of the things that I like about Road America in particular, Finney, in terms of the road courses, is that there's not a whole lot of high downforce corners, so you're not going to get quite so much aero wash that you would have gotten somewhere else like Sebring with some faster turns.
Blocker hit the cones getting so far out, almost got into the grass a little bit.
Well, you don't want to hit those cones a whole lot because they can damage your race car. They can also get stuck underneath you. That's what we saw happen to someone. I can't remember exactly who off the top of my head. Someone got a cone stuck under their car at Sebring, and it wasn't a good time. So you got to keep yourself on the gray stuff tonight as Blocker heads down into turn 5 on attack for the lead.
He's trying to set up better exits than his teammate Bennett, but Bennett's keeping a commanding lead at the moment.
David Adams and John Downing. This is for 11th.
Downing is running really well. Dropped a few spots after taking a trip through the grass.
Dan Ench dropping out to let Rob Powers on by. Up the road, Chad Simpson, and that is Marshall Stanley in the 55. He's going to head to the inside. Whoa, Simpson almost got drilled by Logan Simmons, but they will keep rolling.
Trying to see where everyone's kind of sorted themselves out. It does look like the top 8 have, the top 7 have separated themselves by quite a bit to the rest of the field. 3.6 seconds separating Rasmussen to Lichtenberg.
Yeah, look at Ray Kingsbury already climbing forward. Started 22nd, up 7 spots to 15th, and looking for 14th to the inside of Downing now.
And I'm noticing a lot of these guys having trouble, using the straightaway to make a move. Not because they're not getting a run, they're getting a run. They're getting too good of a run because they're tacking up before they can get to the end of the straightaway.
Yeah. I mean, again, you got gearing to work with. You don't always get an opportunity to test at such high speed with all the draft and everything involved. So some of these drivers clearly missed the mark in terms of setting up the gearing for this race because they're hurting themselves. Look at this car in front. Wow, look at this blue on the A.J. Burton car. Taking advantage of the metallic. Oh, that is pretty. It's like a blue version of Dakota DiCienzo's car. So it looks like Bradley Walters has pulled off. Dan Ench is also off, and he's got big damage on his car, and this is recent. So let's find out what happened. This is actually coming out of turn 13.
Yeah, this is a classic spot. One of the few high downforce corners. Just gets loose.
Wiggled, wobbled, and concrete for the 52. Andrew Kinsella in the number 14 is riding in 7th. I think there might have just been a little bit of drama here.
Yeah, Rasmussen just got by him.
This is heading up towards turn 6. There's Riley Thompson and Rasmussen. He's just going to maybe slide a little bit wide here, get in the dirt, and whoops.
Ooh, wow.
And managed to keep it off the wall, but just.
That's a hard stopper right there. Great save for him. Oh, and unfortunately, Dakota DiCienzo, he's in, I think this is...
That's turn 6.
Oh.
And so he's gone off as well, and this is probably just all brake locking. So you already see he was struggling with brake lock into turn 5. He's going to climb up the hill, and then watch what happens here.
And misses the braking point. Just stuffs it into the tire barrier. Minor damage to his car.
Ray Kingsbury has also lost a spot back to John Downing. Did he ever get around him? I thought he did. But he's dropped back behind the 40. You see right behind, that's Joe Branch, the MYLAPS sponsored 28 car. And Branch so far has gained 5 spots from 21st up to 16th.
And so a lot of guys making some good forward progress.
Nicholas Rasmussen, another guy that I'm starting to see gain a little bit of pace, just got by Riley Thompson for 5th. And was super impressive in his first outing at Sebring a few weeks ago, and here he is inside the top 5, and maybe didn't quite qualify as good as we thought he was, but for the lead, here comes Blocker to the outside into turn 5, and out of the inside, crossover, over, under for the top spot.
Let's see who's going to give down into turn 6. It's going to be tight.
Blocker takes it.
Blocker's going to bully Bennett out of it.
And Blocker's not going to be satisfied with just riding to a championship. He's going to fight for it all the way. Passes his championship competitor and teammate Henry Bennett, and Joshua Chin sitting right in behind is hoping he can be a part of this soon. Christopher Demerit has gone off, and his number 144, I think.
He's actually coming to the pits to get some service.
It actually looked like that was a scheduled stop, potentially, so maybe no drama involved there. He's back out on the racetrack now, as the leaders work their way down through the back straightaway section towards Canada Corner.
Curious on how quick Bennett's going to be to retaliate, try to take the lead back, although he's already starting to lose some pace to Blocker.
You wonder about this because we know how good Blocker's been this season, but I'm concerned that if Blocker just passed Bennett this early in the race, I think it's only going to get harder and harder for Bennett to keep that 74 in sight. So Joshua Chin's focus now is passing Henry Bennett so he can take the fight right to the leader instead of having to just fight for second all night. Down into turn 1, 130 sustained miles an hour through this corner. Curbing around here is also quite rough, especially on exit.
Oh yeah, look at the run. Should got off like the turn 3. He's gonna have a nice run.
Oh yeah, he'll have
down
a look
to
here.
turn 5.
You should have a look down into 5. Bennett rather is gonna go defensive here, and Chin's gonna sweep to the outside lane. Into the braking zone now.
Don't think he's quite in
Crossover.
the alongside. Yep.
Have the run into 6, and Bennett lost the lead like this, but he won't lose second like it, or will he? Because here comes Chin trying to get that throttle out of the exit of 6 and set him up maybe for a pass into turn 8 now. Didn't get a great run through there though.
Yeah, that made them lose quite a bit of time to Blocker to etch his lead out to a second and a half.
Joe Flanagan in the 53s also hit pit lane, and I'm going to assume that this is their only stop that they're going to have to make tonight, just making it early and not having to pit later.
I don't know about that, because remember, we had to take 2 stops at Sebring, and that was 28 laps, and these guys are going to have more on-throttle time here.
Yep. You're right about the on-throttle time. It's going to be a fast one. But Blocker has already set sail, 1.2 seconds out front. Lynn Lazier just hanging on in 4th right now, and Rasmussen running fairly competitive lap times in 5th.
Actually, unless I'm curious about Lazier, he actually really wasn't that terribly slow again with that wing, so I don't think it's hurting him.
So really, I mean, the risk with damaging your wing is that you lose downforce, right? But you're not really going to need a whole lot of downforce here. I think really the bigger concern is inducing more drag is really his problem. But I don't think it doesn't really seem to be hurting him a whole lot.
Let's see what his speed is at the end of the straightaway. He's hitting 178.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah, everyone else is hitting around 170, 179, so he's not that far off.
I think he should be fine. He can get that wing replaced. It will cost him time. He's not going to have a choice to replace it or not. That's the unfortunate part. So, about 8 laps into our 25-lap event. And for second place, here comes Joshua Chin to the outside once again.
And a lot more alongside going into turn 5. He's going to have the outside lane. This might be beneficial with the run, too.
Actually, driver's right into turn 6 isn't a bad place to be because you can roll some momentum just like that, but he's going to run wide, and Bennett might have a chance to fight back, but he won't, and Chin will take second place away.
Now, this is really going to be a true test of pace for the 93 if he's able to.
Riley Thompson around David Adams has spun out as well in turn 5. We just saw that pass for second.
Because they were not near each other.
They might have just had, I think Thompson just spun out, and I think the 88 just spun out trying to miss Thompson when he rejoined the track potentially. Oh, he just spun out.
Oh, separate.
Completely separate. Here's the 58's excursion down into turn 5 once again. Comes into view here. Just gets on the curb on entry. Loops it around, and then the 88 of David Adams drives into the shot, sees a car off course. Maybe locks in the brakes a little bit. Loops around. No harm, no foul, just a lot of track position loss for these cars. No real damage appears to any of these machines. Logan Simmons has crashed out in the 75. He was way off.
Whoa. Oh, that's gonna hurt.
go back and look again how he set this up. He just way offline already, just over-committed off in the grass, and told you it's bumpy out there, and bam, into the fence.
That's really, once you're in the grass like that, worst thing you can do is apply any sort of throttle.
Yep.
And just tires just start to spin, you lose the back end.
Yeah, you can already tell by the middle of the corner that he was never going to make that exit at that throttle amount, but of course he knows that now too. So already a couple of retirements. Demerit, Simmons, Ensch, Walters, and Schowen all retired out. Last driver running is Joe Flanagan. He's made a pit stop. David Adams is also going to come down pit lane, I guess, get some fresh tires on this car and some more fuel and kind of get back into your rhythm. I think one of the things he wants to do is get some clean racetrack and just focus on himself right now after that spin. Blocker is just absolutely dominating.
Yeah, ran a really solid 142.8, only 0.2 off of his fastest. Everyone else is falling a lot more off the pace.
42.8 at this stage in the run is extremely impressive. Joshua Chin, his last time was a 143.7. Henry Bennett was a 144.5. So Bennett's really struggling right now.
Well, last lap was the pass between both of them, so that kind of slowed them down. I think this lap will be a good indicator of their pace without, slowing each other down, trying to make a pass.
I was almost going to wonder if the 007, until you mentioned that, if he had any floor damage of some sort from driving over a curve. Because that's a lot of speed to slow down. Of course, if it was just the pass, it would make sense.
Yeah, so here they come. We'll check back a little in a bit. Looking at Riley Thompson trying to make up for what happened to him. Back in 12th place.
And John Downing's also had an excursion tonight. And Ray Kingsbury, his progress is slowed dramatically. Oh no! Thompson slides again and brings Downing with him.
Yeah. Downing picked the wrong line, was trying to avoid Thompson, unfortunately followed him into the sand. And if I'm Thompson, I'll just come into the pits now. Yeah,
he's struggling, and this is not going the right direction for him. Let's go back and see how this all started. I think what you're going to see, he might just tag the grass on corner entry here. The left rear caught it, I think. And Downing really didn't have anywhere to go. A little bit slower here. Exactly. So we got to get a better angle of this. You might see that left rear tire just clip. There's some grass on the edge of the racetrack. I think that was all it took, just a little bit of grip lost, and loops it around, and of course the 40 for him really to go. Andreas Eich has also, looks like he might have, actually he's in pit lane. I thought he looked like he looped it, but
so if these guys can make it another, they can make it another 3 laps, they should be good on gas.
Yeah, I would think that a race this short, you could do it on 1 stop, but see if some of the other drivers might be committing to a 2-stop strategy. We'll see how it rolls.
Yeah. I remember Sebring was pretty close, and you can almost make that race, but again, this is a different track, so different rules you got to apply to. So we'll see here if they can continue on, or if some guys might decide to cut down a pit road here.
Sebring's pretty fast too, so I would expect that they would be relatively similar in fuel consumption over the course of the lap, although North America slightly longer of a racetrack, 4 miles compared to about 3.5. No, is that right? 3 point. Sebring's almost 4. 3.8 or 9 something. Here comes Blocker into pit lane.
That just kind of answers their question.
I think it does.
Pits for him. Chin also in, and Bennett also in.
And Lazier, and probably Rasmussen. I think everyone's going to be coming down.
I think everyone's close on their fuel.
So you can go about 10 laps on fuel, so that means that in a 25-lap race, you got to pit twice. That eliminates all that question mark.
And a procession. Everyone, no one's coming down the front straight normally. I think we might. Nah, actually, though, they probably shouldn't, because all the guys that pit before, they're way behind.
Into the box, slow and steady, and it feels 45 miles an hour around here feels like forever. This pit lane is so long. Blocker is on and off. He's out.
Yep. Blocker away, Chin away, Bennett away. Also curious in seeing how long Flynn Lazier is going to get held up in his box. Remember how to make that repair to his rear wing.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty lengthy here. He's going to lose a couple spots. And there's a whole lot of drivers on. Pit lane is a busy place right now. There he goes.
Yeah, he's finally underway. Let's actually see how long his pit stop was.
Looks like his stop was 23 seconds compared to 7.8 for the leader. So a big time loss there for him.
Yeah, 15 seconds to fix that rear wing.
Nicholas Rasmussen also spending a really long time on pit lane. Maybe a wing change for him here too.
I don't.
Oh, he's been on here for 40 seconds.
Something's wrong.
He's running inside the top 5.
This is gonna ruin his night. Now he's finally underway. Don't know what he was in there for.
Yep. Finally pulls back out of the box.
Back in 21st.
Yeah, that was essentially throwing away the entire race. He won't be able to get back inside the top 10 now. It's a long night he's got ahead of him. Up in front, though, Blocker and Chin actually managed to close the gap slightly. It's 1.8 seconds now. It was over 2.5 as we got to think of a conundrum down here. Riley Thompson again, and he's upside down this time.
Yeah, that's day over for the 58.
Yeah, that's certainly the end of the line. This is down, I believe this is in turn 8.
5.
Oh, is it turn 5?
Should be turn 5. Looks like turn 5.
Yeah, you're right. It is turn 5. So the 58 upside down, and we will not get a full course caution. He's well off course, but
let's see if we can find out what on earth happened to him.
Yeah, this is going to be a wild one, whatever it was. He was right in front of Flanagan, and I wonder if Flanagan. Oh no! Oh man! Well, that was unexpected for sure. And it looks like Thompson was just kind of minding his own business, and Flanagan just something broke, or he missed his braking point by a mile. And gets the 58 and just trips him up and over. What a ride he went on there.
That looked exactly like Esteban Gutierrez's crash at Bahrain in 2014. Did almost the exact same thing. I'll show it to you after.
Yeah. Yeah, the 53 just, I don't know if he completely missed his braking point or what. Wow. Tripped up and over in the end of the line for Riley Thompson as he heads back to pit lane. That's an unfortunate way to go out. I wonder if Joshua Chin's made a change to his car. He's gained a little bit on Blocker on this last lap.
Could have. Blocker ran at 2. This is actually including.
Yeah, I think he's gained about 3/10 since they left the box, though. So I think there's more out there than I think we think. 14 laps to go here at Road America, almost halfway through. Working lap number 12 at lap 13. That will be our halfway point. Here's Joe Branch and David Adams. That was a bit dicey, and Branch is going to spin.
Around he goes
and tries to get out of the way, and he will, but he'll lose some track position in the process. This was almost not a problem. This is almost not an issue.
Curious.
Who was it that got in here? Brian?
Adams. David Adams.
Oh, was it David Adams?
I imagine.
Ah, yes. Yeah, very slight contact. We'll continue. And again, as I was saying, Blocker was getting run down. Well, Joshua Chin has closed that gap to 1.3 seconds. I wonder how much push to pass he's using, if any, because he just ran a 1:42.9. That was his quickest lap, or very close to his quickest lap of the race. 1.2 seconds now. He's flying. I mean, this is the pace I would expect him to have after how dominant he was at Sebring. No one could touch him there. This isn't a different enough racetrack that I'd expect Blocker to be exponentially better than this at Joshua Chin, or better than Joshua Chin at this, but down the back straight, still 1.2. Ooh, Blocker slid a little bit on entry. Got up on the edge of the curb.
Yeah, I think he was braking late. I was looking at their speed heading down the straightaway. Blocker went up to 184 and Chin 182. I think Blocker might have went a little bit too far into the corner. Last thing he needs to do is start making mistakes. His rival's right in behind him.
Chin started second tonight. And he hasn't actually had an opportunity to lead any laps, but his best time is a 1:42.9, 139.3 miles an hour. Although Blocker's best lap is a little bit quicker than that. But the gap still is shrinking, as Blocker has led his 7th lap tonight. Halfway point here for the Elkhart Lake Elite Grand Prix at Road America. And Blocker's led half of the race that we've done so far. The other half belongs to Henry Bennett, who has slipped to 3rd. His pace dropped off dramatically after the first couple laps. We've had a number of retirements, most recently Riley Thompson and Joe Flanagan involved in a turn 5 collision, which led Riley Thompson to be turned over on his roll hoop.
It really is amazing how big the gaps are after you look at our top 3. They're all within 4.5 seconds of each other, and then back, you have to go another 10 seconds back from Bennett to Kinsella.
Kinsella wasn't present at the last race that we did, so it's good to see him back, and he's running quite well, currently in 4th. He's a ways back, but still inside the top 5. There's Brendan Lichtenberg with that special livery that he's running. Started 11th up to 5th. This is a solid night for him.
And he's still competing against Henry Bennett in the points. He's trying to take away 2nd from Bennett, but Bennett would expand it at the finishing order we're looking at here. And he's got, again, all things considered, though, solid job running in 5th.
I was watching him exit turn 3. You saw him drop off the end of the curb, how violently that car sat down. Are we concerned at all about floor damage on some of these bigger curbs around here?
No, I'll be surprised. There's not really anything. There's no real big curves. Compared to especially in the FIA tracks where they got those anti-cut curves. That's really where we're going to damage that floor.
John Downing in the number 40 car tonight. Started 9th, has dropped a little ways with all the conundrums that some of the Sadie Sim Autosport cars have had, but trying to claw his way back forward right in front of his Marshall Stanley in the 55. Down the inside into 5, hard on the brakes. Going to be running a little bit wide here, though, and Stanley's going to fight back.
Stanley thought about getting the run back. He's going to back off of that fight into turn 6 and give it to Downing.
Lead still shrinking. Shin down to 1 second back.
He's consistently running 2 to 3 tenths faster a lap than Adam Blocker. And it's really closing that gap now. About a second. Could even go lower. Well, now he's going to start kind of getting into the realm of a little bit of dirty air here and there. Nothing too big.
Yeah, again,
but that's still something.
That's the beauty of Road America is that you really don't fight that as much as you do in corners that have much longer sweepers. So it'll be an effect for sure, but it's not going to be a race-ending, I'm stuck behind him forever, like we saw the Fuel IndyCar Series at Gateway a few weeks ago. But I don't think we're quite... Okay, last lap, these guys ran. Adam Blocker's last lap was a 142.921, and Joshua Chin's was a 142.922. 1,000th of a second difference.
Yeah, I was going to say Blocker expanded the gap by 1,000th of a second, which is next to negligible.
Rolling through turn 7 and heading down into 8 now. And Henry Bennett, I don't know what's gone on with this car. He's the only driver to have won here, because this is only the second time the MYLAPS Indy Elite Series has visited Road America, and last time we were here, he did win. I'm just shocked at how fast his pace dropped off from the drop of the green flag to now. I mean, he's in the mid-143s now. It's almost half a second off what the leaders are running.
I'm not sure what it is. It's a bit unfortunate. Could have easily competed with those guys up front for the win. Fortunately, just a little bit too far behind to really stay with them. He's only really falling further and further back.
Podium's nothing to hang your head over, but certainly going to be a missed opportunity to get a potential race win here tonight. Nicholas Rasmussen in the 71. We don't know why he was stopped in pit road for so long here, Finney, but this is not the race I'm sure he wanted to be running.
No, definitely not. I mean, he easily could have had a 6, hell, even a top 5 finish. But, yeah, whatever that thing was, I'm curious on asking him after the race what happened to him, because it was a really solid finish looking for him. Now he's got to claw his way back to the field.
Yeah, and after his run at Sebring, we thought that this might be the driver to beat here tonight, but it looks like whatever happened on pit lane has taken him solidly out of contention.
I do hope we see him back for next season, spring.
John Downing rides in 14th, right behind teammate Simon Bryant. These two were right on top of each other earlier in this very corner.
Downing also tried to make it for some of his mistakes early on the race. It cost him quite a bit. Still recovering.
10 laps to go here at Road America. We want to thank our sponsors again, the MYLAPS company, for sponsoring this series in full from start to finish each and every race, and also the Coca-Cola bottling plant of Kokomo, Indiana. And I don't think we're allowed to say what's going on next season just yet, so I'm not going to. But I do want to reiterate that we do have a title sponsor for the 2020 season, and the MYLAPS in the Elite Series will be back on SimTV for 2020.
That's all we can say.
That's all we can say. I mean, they might not be keeping it a secret.
We haven't been given a green light, so we're not going to say, but good things are happening.
John Downing, whoa, real deep into 5, almost rear-ended his teammate. Getting pretty, almost foggy out there. The humidity's rising so much. The track temp's still pretty toasty, though, so kind of limiting the amount these drivers can push. But Joshua Chin is in behind Adam Blocker and running still quicker than him, but just not able to quite get to him yet. So I think we'll see a pass from position if he can catch him. And I wonder, this is why I want push-to-pass information so bad, to know how much he's got left in the tank to fight that 74.
What I'm curious, because obviously these guys have to make one more stop tonight. If Chin would want to just come down into the pits before the 74, so you can try to get some clean air and just push on, because obviously he's going to be kind of stuck in behind 74. It's a little bit of an effect, so maybe you can just try to outpace him by himself.
So what do you think is the time to come in? Do you come now and you try to beat him to pit lane, or do you kind of push the chance that Blocker will pit later?
I would come in now. I mean, obviously, come in now. I guess you could try to wait for him, but he might just run out the fuel and you're stuck in also having to pit behind him, so It's safer to come in now.
There's your two leaders, first and second. There is third place Henry Bennett coming into view, and it's going to be a long time until we see fourth place Andrew Kinsella. This has all been done under green flag conditions, and over the crest in just a moment. Here comes fourth place. That's how big of a gap those top three have put on everyone else.
Yeah, Kinsella's fallen back to 13 seconds. Last time I mentioned it was about 10.5 seconds.
Well, we got another taker to pit lane, and it's John Downing's gone for a loop. Joe Branch was the one on pit lane. This is at the exit of turn 1. We haven't seen any incidents down here yet. It's a little bit wide, and he's going to catch the wall. Big impact there on exit. That'll be a wing replacement for sure. So, we saw a couple drivers hit pit lane for their second and final stop. I would think that Joshua Chin has got to be looking at this as an opportunity to come and beat that 74. I think you're right. I don't think the aero push is huge, but it's going to be enough of an influence that the 93 is going to want to beat Blocker to pit lane just to get that extra lap of clean air on his nose.
Because clearly we've seen the 93 is faster. When he's got some clean air to work with, he will stay out again.
So the other risk, though, is the pit delta tonight has been about 40 seconds. That would put him right back into traffic, too. So maybe there's also a consideration of where he'd come out when he makes his stop.
Yeah, that is true.
So he might wait for some more guys to hit pit lane before he makes that move. 8 laps to go now at Road America, and Joshua Chin rides in second behind Adam Blocker. Henry Bennett's almost 5 seconds back. No other significant battles at the moment. The closest one is for the lead. Brennan Lichtenberg hits pit lane in the number 10. He's going to come on down, and it's been a decent night for him tonight. Not blowing anybody out of the water, but certainly a good result in store.
Running respectively in the top 5 before he came down into the pits.
Andreas Eich also coming in. He's running in 7th and started 14th, so also a climb for him. AJ Burton hits pit lane in that bright blue car. Well, I don't want to say a bright blue, metallic blue car. He will come and pit into his box here shortly. Through the carousel for the 18th time is Blocker. And this is where Chin really loses all that ground, is in that wash through the faster corners. And he gains a lot of it back in this final sector. I think the 93 is a little bit better through Canada Corner and up the hill towards 13 and 14.
Yeah, and these guys are kind of both evenly matched right now. I mean, the last time through, both were... Chin was 49,000 of a second off of Blocker's last time. Right within the cover of the 24, but hasn't really been able to close anything more than about half a second.
Ooh, Blocker's a little bit wide on exit, ran off into the dirt. That might have slowed him down just enough to let Chin gain a bunch of ground on him. It's down to about 4/10. It's the lowest it's been since the 74 took the lead away from Henry Bennett a long time ago.
Keeping the brakes down towards turn 1.
Whoa, slide! No! He saves it! Oh, man. That was a butt clench moment right there. We got to watch that again. That was unbelievable. Watch this.
Had a bad bump over the curb. I think that upset the car enough to lose grip. Went out for a little bit of a slide.
Holy cow, you got to watch this from another angle here. He comes into the shot, and I don't know if he caught the curb a little bit too much, but right on exit.
Yeah, it's a bounce right there.
Yep, and big slide. Wow, locked up the tires and regained control. That was expert maneuvering by the 93.
Easily could have put it into the wall there, but was able to recover.
Yeah, but now
he's going to have to recover that gap.
Yeah, it's a 1.4 second gap now, so he lost about a second and all that. I think part of the other thing that contributed was the lack of air on the nose of that car didn't help plant that machine a whole lot following that 74 that closely. So, more cars to hit pit lane. David Adams, Simon Bryant, and more. And Henry Bennett, I'm not sure if he's made his... Yes, he has made his second stop. So Bennett is done pitting for the night and comes out in 5th. In theory, that's the worst he'd do if he doesn't crash.
This can only go about another 2 laps maybe on fuel.
Chin still, even though he slid, he's gained back almost half that gap that he lost already. I have to imagine he's going to hit pit lane shortly. And here he comes.
Anything is going to be interesting here. This should put him right in behind Richard Holt, if not with him. Pit delta is about 38 seconds. Holt 37 seconds back from the lead.
Yes, again, Richard Holt in the 91. We haven't talked about him a whole lot tonight, but he started in 17th. He's been running up inside the top 10 for a lot of the night. This has been a spectacular run for him, and think he's still got to make another pit stop, and he will, but it'll drop him back out of the running for the top 5 spots. But good night for him. He's kept the nose clean on that car and looking pretty good. So Joshua Chin is back out. You see Holt going to be cresting the hill here shortly, and Chin should have this quite easily. It was just a short fuel for Joshua Chin. Henry Bennett took on almost all the fuel he could. That was a 3-second slower stop for Bennett versus Chin.
Yeah, that makes sense. Again, these guys can go about 10 laps on fuel. You only have to fill up half the tank. Just don't take tires. So we'll see what Blocker does now. He's gonna have to come and use
this is gonna be close. This is gonna be real close. It's all a matter of how much fuel does Blocker take. Because if he takes less or the same amount as Joshua Chin, it's gonna be pretty much the same as we thought. If he takes more, or even miscalculates slightly, it could put him out of the chance to win this race. Again, he doesn't need to win this race. He's already essentially locked up the championship. Through turn 12, Canada corner, and I would imagine that he's going to hit pit lane this time. Nope, stay out another time.
One more lap.
I mean, he just ran a 1:42.9. I think with how light the car is with so little fuel, it's running really good lap times right now.
That is the thing with these cars, running faster on a lighter tank, and also thing too is you got to take less fuel now.
Yeah, the longer you stay out, the less fuel you got to take on, and right now the car is super light. It's performing well. It's got nice, warm, toasty tires, gripping the racetrack.
Yeah, based on the way, let's see, Chin's 34 seconds back.
His pit delta was 36 with the short fuel. Ooh, I'm liking Joshua Chin right now. The question is, how long will Adam Blocker sit in pit lane for? I mean, the pit delta also doesn't include getting onto and off of the actual lane itself. So I still think this seems to heavily favor Chin if Blocker takes a reasonable amount of fuel.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's going to have to take as little fuel as possible, I think, with the pace that Chin's got right now. It's not making it easy for him. Here's Flynn Lazier coming out of the pits in 5th.
He's on and off. Adam Crane also exiting his box as well. Blocker's run a 1:42.8 last time, and he's heading down into Canada corner, and I'd have to imagine he's got to pit either this time or next. 34.2 seconds separates Blocker from Chin. Chin working through 8 now. Blocker now heading into the final corner.
See here, I'll be astounded if he stays on another lap. There
he comes.
On in.
So, it's all going to come down to this stop, whether it's Chin or Blocker that takes home a victory tonight. And a long, slow trek down pit lane. This is torture for a racing driver after running out there at 150 average miles an hour for so long.
Find his stall, get into the pits, see how much fuel he does take. His Chin is breathing down the neck.
Alright, so we're going to keep an eye on Adam Blocker as he's in the box. And where is Joshua Chin in the 93? He's closing very quickly on that straightaway. Here comes Joshua Chin in the 93. He might be able to... Oh, Blocker's already leaving the box. Here they come down the front straight. Chin with the head of steam. 4 laps to go as they come across the line, and Blocker gets free. Did he fuel the car enough? You'd have to hope so. It was exactly the same amount of time, 4.8 seconds. And somehow he got on and off a little bit more efficiently, and that let Chin stay behind.
Actually, roll that back out again. Not sure how he managed to do it, but was about 4/10 quicker on pit road.
That was probably what made the difference, honestly. So, being a little bit more aggressive into and out of your box.
You can see there the gap's expanded.
1.9 seconds now. So, with only 3 laps to go next time by, it's about 12 miles. Still a long way to go here. And Chin was quicker prior to his little slip up in turn 1. So this isn't over just yet, although Adam Blocker's chances just rose dramatically with that pit stop exit.
Yeah, and I think Chin's really going to have to make up a lot of time. This could all be kind of traced back to his spin off of turn 1.
Almost spin.
Yeah, his
real sideways, but didn't quite lose it.
The time he lost coming out of turn 1 with the little incident, that cost him quite a bit.
So again, Chin was better in the last sector of this track. It's where I'd expect him to make up the most ground. Maybe if he takes a couple tenths out of it a lap, he'll be there. But I think Blocker's looking really good right now.
Yeah, expanding a little bit.
Adam Blocker this year putting a bookend on the championship next week at Auto Club Speedway would be something he's been waiting all season to do after his domination, but we thought he might come in here and be a bit conservative because all he really had to do was start the race. But he took that huge lead and decided, you know what, we're going to race for it because I have a huge lead, I have a cushion to bank on, and he's not going to have to use it.
It really is impressive, you know, how much he secured this championship. Obviously, it was pretty much 2 races good, and considering the next race is a double points race, he was even secure with that, in fact. So. Yeah, he's done a fantastic job this season. I would say for anyone else to be champion, I think it would be a steal, because Blocker's absolutely dominated this season.
And with how stiff the competition is in this series, I mean, if you look back at any point, I don't think Adam Blocker looked like he was really dominating anything. I mean, he was up there all the time, certainly, but he hasn't won every race this season. Certainly not to the level that we've seen people dominate in the past, but the consistency is where Blocker's really excelled this season.
And actually, you want to talk about consistency, this is his last... This is the last 9 finishes going from Kansas back to the beginning of the season. 3rd, 2nd, 1st, 1st, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, 3rd, 4th.
That's how you win a championship.
Yeah, had a 20th finish at Pocono at the beginning of the season. That was his worst finish. Other than that, nothing worse than 4th.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible, the consistency that he's had this season. Others around him have won a bunch of races. They've been competitive, but just not been there at the end of the race. Now, other drivers have gotten caught up in collisions. Think some of the Spartan VR cars, some of the Sadie Sim Autosports cars. Those cars could have run for the championship because they were fast enough to win, but they just couldn't keep the cars on the black stuff all race, and that's where the 74s really excel. Especially if you look back at some of the speedway events and how messy some of those got, and the fact that he managed to make it through all of those and not get caught up in a wreck is pretty spectacular in itself. 2 laps to go here at Elkhart Lake.
Gaps managed at 2.5 seconds, chin slower by about 2 or so seconds, 2 or so tenths a lap. I think he kind of knows that he doesn't really have the best shot. I think he's just kind of backing off a little bit to make sure he doesn't make a mistake. Yeah,
at this point you're just trying to conserve second spot. It's 7 seconds back to Henry Bennett, though. There's really no rush. Now, Bennett's actually running really good lap times. He's running 142.8, which was faster than the leader. It actually was the fastest car on the racetrack, but no track position to be able to do anything about it tonight.
Yeah, unfortunately that pace come too little too late.
Well, I think Henry Bennett's season is gone. He's been fast every race, but just has not quite had the consistency and the luck that Adam Blocker has had in some of these speedway races this year. So Bennett, a great season. Will end up somewhere around 2nd or 3rd. I mean, granted, it should be a 2nd, but you know, nothing to hang your helmet over. I mean, this is spectacular driving, but Blocker's just been that good this year.
Yeah, 9th and 10th, Adam Crane and Simon Bryan.
Adam Crane, we haven't talked a lot about yet tonight, and started 10th, running in 9th, and kind of holding serve for the most part. Same with Bryan.
Both of these guys have run pretty solid races.
2 seconds back from that is David Evans and Ray Kingsbury. And Kingsbury is a peculiar one because he shot out of a cannon in the early start to the race. He self-proclaims he's not the best road course driver, but he went from 22nd to 15th in like 2 laps and then hasn't been able to climb up farther than that.
And Nicholas Rasmussen, he's just gone by Marshall Stanley for 13th place. Decent recovery, all things considered, but still kind of managing what could have been.
Yeah, again, I'm really excited to see Rasmussen if he returns next season, because after his outing at Sebring and how fast he was early in the race tonight, he's certainly going to be a championship contender. White flag flies for Adam Blocker one more time around, 4 miles to get another victory this season and put the bookend on a championship. He'll go into next week at Auto Club Speedway already holding the trophy.
Yeah, I was going to say he actually doesn't even need to show up for that race. He actually can just take the race up. Obviously, he's not going to. He's going to try to. He's going to try to win that race.
He's going to go try to win it. He's going to take no prisoners there. Also, fun fact about Adam Crane. Thank you, Chance Simmons in the chat. Adam Crane is currently the Road to Indy Elite points leader. So an interesting note about the 24.
Well, he's running really solid.
He's performing.
Yeah.
AJ Burton and Marshall Stanley just traded spots for 14. Adam Blocker now working his way through the middle sector of the course. And Joshua Chin tonight, I mean, his season didn't get a victory. You remember how close he was at Mid-Ohio? Lost that one out to Zach Campbell by thousandths of a second. Went to Sebring, really wanting to prove himself that he could go out there and still win races, and did. Well, boy, did he ever at Sebring. Completely dominated that event. Was quick tonight. Strategy didn't quite work out in his favor. But it's hard to beat this guy.
Yeah, it really is.
How many races has he won this season?
3.
3? This will be his 4th. So as we roll on through the 2 final corners, turns 13 and 14, Adam Blocker will come on through. He will solidify himself as the 2019 MYLAPS Indy Elite Series champion. 4 wins for Adam Blocker. The most recent right here, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Road America goes to the Blocker car.
Back in 2nd place. Unfortunately, Chin didn't have enough pace at the end to keep up with him. Anthony Bennett's going to roll through in 3rd, rounding out your podium.
Long ways back, Andrew Kinsella. Good run for him tonight. He wasn't around for the last race, but started 7th, up 3 spots to 4th, so a top 5 for the 14. Got to be happy with that. Flynn Lazier in the 4, one of the first Spartan VR cars to be running up in the front tonight. Comes on through to round out a top 5 result tonight.
Leading their charge in that car. Solid run for him, Brendan Lichtenberg.
Dicey around Adam Crane. It's by Andreas Ike in the closing moments of this one.
Not sure what's happening to Ike. He's got damage to his front wing, and that's slowing him down a bit.
Got some damage, and Simon Bryant close, but might not be able to get the 76. Be a drag race to the line here. Adam Crane will come on through in 8th. Richard Holt got 7th, Lichtenberg 6th. But for 9th place, Ike and Simon Bryant going to be a drag race to the line. It'll be the 76 in 9th place, Bryant in 10th. David Adams, another Sadie Sim Autosport car in 11th. Ray Kingsbury comes home in 12th. Last battle to speak of is Chad Simpson and Marshall Stanley. Stanley dropped off big time, though.
I think he's out of gas.
He
was actually running along with Rasmussen.
I don't know if he's making up the hill. This is a steep incline.
Yeah, this is the worst thing. This is the same thing that happened in my race in the Lionheart Retro Series. I think it was Sage Karam. He ran out of fuel coming up the hill.
Yep. He's not going to.
No, I think he might.
It flattens out here a little bit, but he's going to certainly lose all the rest of the spots. Joe Branch in the 28. I think he's spun out.
Oh, Joe, come on!
He's 15 miles an hour as Marshall Stanley up the road. Here they come, and Branch
there he goes.
will get 17th. Let's go back and take a quick look at the spin that Branch had. This was. I didn't want to look at it in slow motion. We'll get it again here. Came on through to the final corner, pushing a bit too hard, and loops it around on exit. Managed to grab the spot. Marshall Stanley will not quite make it to the
actually, I guess if he did or not.
Did he?
No,
We're gonna find out. He might have. Nope, he didn't make it. Didn't make it. But you know who did? Adam Blocker got it done. Here's a look at your race results tonight. Led the most laps, won the race. Joshua Chin 4 seconds back. 25 green flag laps and some spectacular running. 1 lead change, Finney, and it was Blocker over Henry Bennett. That was it. Game over from there.
Yeah, Chin really is going to just stay right in behind him the entire time, especially when it came down to that final pit stop. Unfortunately, that little slip up and down into turn 1 that pretty much cost him, and then with Blocker beating Chin out of the pits, pretty much sealed the nail in the coffin.
Hang tight for 1 minute. We'll be right back with your race winner and Joshua Chin, and maybe one other. Hang tight. We'll be back in just a minute.
To get the best result, it's all about ambition, hard work, and doing the right things right. In 1982, 2 Dutch brothers invented an automatic way to time RC races. The system of the company, called AMB-IT, was quickly adopted by pro racing series like NASCAR and IndyCar. Automated timing for mass participation sport events was also invented in the Netherlands by Champion Chip in the early 90s. Giving athletes a personal chip time of their performance. In 2008, the 2 companies joined forces, and MYLAPS Sports Timing was born. We never stop innovating, with state-of-the-art timing systems and digital services to enhance the event experience. With our X2 platform, we bring motorsports timing to a whole new level with 2-way communication. Our event app and photo video create the ultimate event experience for athletes and fans with live data and personal content like photos and videos. SpeedHive provides a pro-level racing experience for amateur and club events by analyzing personal data. We capture performances of over 20 million racers and athletes every year and use live data to spark emotions. MYLAPS. Experience progress.
Welcome back live to Sim TV and the MYLAPS Indy Elite Series. We're here now with our third place finisher, Henry Bennett in the 007. Henry, pole tonight. You were the previous winner here at Road America. Didn't quite have anything for Joshua Chin and Adam Blocker at the end of this race, but just walk us through your night. Kind of a no man's land there towards the end. What'd you need to go get those top two?
Yeah, I mean, I know the car had the speed, but I think I'd made the wrong choice on downforce. Adam went, I know he went low downforce, I went high downforce because the track temp shot up just before the race, so I thought I'd be safe with high downforce. But yeah, I just couldn't do anything about Adam on the straights. I mean, I pulled like half a second or more on them in the carousel, but they'd catch that up by the time we were down to turn 5, and yeah, there's just absolutely nothing I could do about that with the lack of top speed. But coming into the race, I was kind of just looking to finish good top 5 finish, maybe top 3, because I've had a real bad run the last since mid-season. Really not scored much at all with the DNFs and mistakes. So yeah, happy to get on the podium. Once Adam and Josh got past me, yeah, I was just looking to make it home safely. I mean, I got fastest lap at the end. I think so. Like I say, I think the car had the pace to compete with them, but I just wasn't prepared to push enough as much as I'd need to get past them. And even if I could even if I was with them, I'm not sure I could pass them with my lack of top speed.
Next week is the season finale at Auto Club Speedway, and of course, Adam Blocker will at this point have locked up the championship, even with the double points. So what's your goal for next week? Is it just to go out there and try to win one last time, or is there something else up the sleeve for your team and Adam Blocker?
Oh yeah, it's as simple as you say. Yeah, got to finish in front of the people that I'm competing against for P2 in the standings. Adam, he can just go out and have fun. Like this race, he'd wrapped it up before this race, I think. But yeah, I have to stay out of trouble and finish ahead of the guys I'm competing against for P2 in the standings.
All right, Henry Bennett, third place tonight. Pole the third. Thanks for talking to us. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Moving on now to Joshua Chin, who finished second tonight in the number 93. Josh, that last pit stop was really the telling moment in this race. We got down to about a second, and we were closing in right before the pit stop sequence, and a big slide through turn 1 kind of dropped that gap back down to a second and a half. Do you think without that slide, you could have gotten the victory tonight?
Yeah, I think so. It definitely killed the front tires for a little bit, and I finally started getting back with 2 to go. But I was pretty happy with how the race went. I knew I was kind of in a straight line deficit to Adam and Henry, and it was going to be a struggle all night. And I mean, it showed from lap one, just kind of that back and forth and having them battle each other. And finally got around Henry, and it was working out nicely. But I had to use up a little bit more push to pass to do that than I probably should have, and it left me hanging out dry for that second half of the race.
Road America is a pretty point-and-shoot racetrack for these Dallara IR18 Indy cars. Were you fighting any kind of aero push following Adam Blocker so closely in those closing moments?
Yeah, it seems like once you get about a second and a half to a second back, there's kind of a little bit of a bubble through the carousel, and if you can get closer to that, then you can pull up on the kink and run the Canada corner and really get up to them, and that aero push isn't as much of a hindrance because you can still get the draft. But I know I had to use a push to pass to get through that bubble and kind of start really chasing down Adam, because once I got through that bubble, I had the speed and the aero push wasn't as much of a problem.
Got one more race next week at Auto Club Speedway. What's your plan for that one? Do you think you can go out there and win it too?
Yeah, it'd be nice to. I'd honestly just want to go through and finish a Triple Crown race because I haven't really had great luck with them the last 3 or 4 since Pocono last. Well, actually, it's been about 6 or 7 since Pocono last year. So I just want to get a decent finish and try and get maybe 4th, 5th in the points, depending how things worked out from tonight. I know there were a few guys ahead of me that didn't have the greatest nights, so hopefully get a top 5 in points and keep that going.
All right, Josh. Hey, congratulations on a solid run tonight. 2nd place for the 93. We'll talk to you next week. Good luck.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Moving on now to your race winner. It'll be Adam Blocker driving the number 74. Adam, you pretty much locked up the championship. Now you're going to head into next week holding that trophy already, and another race win, your 4th of the season. It's been an incredible year. You're going to cap it off heading into the finale with a race win and the championship under your belt. Your thoughts on the race tonight and heading into next week?
It was a really good race. First of all, qualified 3rd, just within a 10th of Henry and Josh, but I don't really think I had more than that, so I was pretty happy with 3rd. Then I figured I would be on a lower downforce trim than Henry and Josh, so it was going to be tough for me if I was behind a lot of cars, but obviously I had a big straight line advantage, so managed to get Josh into turn 1, and then almost got Henry out of turn 5 on lap 1 because Henry sort of made a mistake, and we went wheel-to-wheel through 6, and then we were side-by-side still going into 7, and I just backed off because I didn't want to go on the outside of 7. And then Josh almost got me into 8, but so that was a really good battle on the first lap. But yeah, sort of settled in behind Henry after that. I was really struggling in dirty air, but I knew if I could get close to him, close to his gearbox, I had to plan really far ahead. So if I got close to his gearbox on the entry to the carousel, I would lose like half a second, 6/6 of a second just in the carousel, but I could make it all back up in the toe. And then eventually, one of those times I got close enough to where, I was on his gearbox through 1 and 3 and used push to pass into turn 5 and did the switch back and got him into 6. Yeah, and then after that, Henry and Josh helped me out a little bit because they fought and lost a little bit of time. And then Josh was faster than me, I think, because he caught me from like 3 seconds back on my gearbox. He had a slide that cost him, I think, a chance, but I had more push to pass saved up on him. So I think even if he had gotten past me with the straight line advantage, I might have been able to get him back. But
all right, hey Adam, well, congratulations. We're going to talk to you again next week. Of course, pretty much wrapped up that championship, but we'll talk to you again next week. Crown you the champion. Good luck at Auto Club, and we'll see you there.
Yeah, see you guys there. Just want to thank Power Slide for all the work, Andrew and Henry on the setup, and yeah, I want to thank you guys for calling the race, and Joe for putting on the series. Let's do more road courses.
Absolutely, more road courses. I agree with that. We'll see you later, Adam. Have a good night.
Yes.
All right, Vinny, that's going to do it for the race tonight. 25 laps, clean and green racing. Pretty entertaining race, especially those first 5-10 laps were really, really good.
Yeah, everyone was just going at it and opening laps of the race, just getting themselves sorted out in order. And also really clean racing with these guys tonight. Very few incidents involving multiple cars. So yeah, these guys did a great job tonight, entertaining a race from beginning to end. And congratulations to Dan Block on the championship.
That's going to do it for us tonight. We're not done yet, though, streaming, because we got a race at 9:40 p.m. If you want to watch the K&N cars take on Kentucky Speedway in a day-to-night race, you can catch that right here on Sim TV at 9:40 p.m. for the conclusion of the 3-Wide Racing League 2019 Nationals Triple Crown. So make sure, link is already up. Check us out. See you later. Have a good night.